Hello, I am Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars, bringing you insights about the lunar cycles. So let's talk about the first new moon of 2024. So the first lunar cycle of this new year. So we will be having a new moon in Capricorn on the 11th of January, depending where you are in the world. It could be on the 10th of January as well. So between the 10th and the 11th, it will be 20 degrees Capricorn, and as usual, there are a few things that I like to talk about. We will definitely explore some of the aspects that this new moon is making, but also the degree itself. So 20 degrees on Sabian symbols. So if you've been following us here, you know that I like to think about the imagery of each one of the zodiacal degrees, and I find it very useful to get deeper insights into what this new cycle could be about. So for the 20th degree of Capricorn, the image is a relay race. So a relay race. So there's something about being cooperative, there's something about being part of a team, working together towards the common goal, right? I think this sets a little bit the tone for this new moon, and it does make a lot of sense with some of the main aspects of this new moon, in particular the square that this new moon will be making to the lunar nodes. So we have the north node at 20 degrees Aries and the south node at 20 degrees Libra. So the new moon will be in 90 degrees to both ends of the lunar nodes in the moment of that new moon. So for me, that's something very relevant, is an exact aspect. And it really seems to be reflective of this degree of Capricorn and this idea of a relay race. So there are questions around being cooperative, knowing when to pass the baton to someone else, knowing when it's your turn, knowing when it's someone else's turn to make a contribution. So really practicing how to be part of a team. And with the square to the nodes, there's something about our evolution or spiritual growth that will be very much connected with that process. So on the south node in Libra, we've got the skills to be a team player, to realize the importance of the other person, or the importance of another person's opinions and perspectives and contributions, and value them, make them feel special. And on the north node in Aries is the ability to step into our own leadership, our ability to make decisions autonomously by ourselves, independently, being proactive. That's that north node in Libra as well, in Aries, as well. So something about taking initiative there, being able to make contributions, not being afraid of speaking up, of giving your opinion and your perspective as well. So I think the new moon being in square to these 2 points here, we can definitely imagine that this could be applied specifically for work, is a new moon in Capricorn, is the beginning of a new year. So there's usually that feeling of like, what are my goals? Where do I want to be? What do I want to accomplish in this year? How do I want to get by? So this new moon is perfect for that, especially in relation to work, in relation to career goals and achievements in the world, tangible achievements in the world. So we can imagine this idea of the relay race, passing the baton and the square to the north and the south node in connection to our work as well. Are we team players at work? Do we know? Are we creating new partnerships? How well are we intending to participate in this partnership? How open are we to their contribution, or how courageous are we to make our own contribution as well? So I think there is a little bit of these two there, and the the need to really set goals that are connected to groups as well, in that sense, like being part of a team in our work. How can we delegate more? I think that's another one, because a lot of us are freelancers, or we're used to working alone. We're self-employed, we have our own work, and we find very difficult to let go and to delegate things to other people. So we prevent our businesses to grow, from growing, because we cannot delegate something to other people. So maybe this is the case for you, trying to find where your precious time isn't really needed, where some other people can step in and contribute as well, so you can focus on the important things, the things that you are irreplaceable. So this is an example here, but it could be any other situation as well. But always connected to this sense of participating, allowing other people to participate as well, and focusing on this more material, goal-oriented, ambitious side of our lives. As usual, it's really, really important that you place this new moon in your natal chart. Do you have your ascendant in Capricorn around the 20th degree? So that's definitely going to have something to be said about how you come out into the world, how you present yourself, your personal image. Is it on your 10th house? Is it in your 4th house? So find out where this new moon is, so you can get more significance or more details about how this is going to be experienced, or what intentions you can set personally as well. But let's look at the chart of the new moon. So the new moon isn't just forming the square to the nodes, as I mentioned, but it's also not too far from Pluto. So it's far enough that we can have a little bit of perspective and detachment. So it doesn't necessarily have to be highly intense, as a new moon super, super close to Pluto usually is. But it is close enough. So we have a 9 degrees orb between the sun and the moon and Pluto. Now, what this aspect is telling me is that part of this cycle will be to purge ambitions that are not grounded. So, are your goals achievable? Do you want to do something that you can actually set a plan, organize yourself? Is it doable? That's some of the questions that you might want to ask yourself with Pluto being near that new moon as well, because Pluto will be purging any ambition that isn't grounded enough. So if there are ambitions that have been somehow contaminated by unconscious content and material, you want to achieve something because you're searching for validation, because you're trying to be someone that you're not, and things like that. This new lunar cycle will challenge that because of that proximity to Pluto. There is a sense of purging, purifying, regenerating your ambitions as well. So you have that opportunity. That's reflected by that Pluto 9 degrees away from this new moon. All right. Also, by this last degree, Pluto is traveling through the last degree of Capricorn and will be moving to Aquarius this year, and back to Capricorn and then Aquarius again. So it really has this feeling of like responsibilities connected to power, to your role as an authority as well, potentially to your inner authority, reclaiming your power in your work situation or with your goals, getting out of a victim position and taking the reins and making things happen. I think that's a very Capricornian flavor as well. All right, so Pluto is definitely there too. Now, the other aspect that I want to talk about that this new moon is forming here is a trine to Uranus. So planet Uranus is at 19 degrees Taurus. So it's a very close trine between the two. And it does give me a sense of expansion and potentially breaking free from old structures, from small thinking. I think Capricorn can be really good to see ahead, even though we're not talking about fire sign. One thing I've observed in many of my Capricornian friends and family members is this ability to think ahead, and is this ability not to be caught in the smallness of the immediate situation, but being able to invest generously into projects that will bring you fruits in the future. So this is another thing that we can think about with this trine to Uranus and the Capricorn flavor as well. Being able to think ahead, being able to break free from restraints, from things that have been holding you back, from taking the leap and going after what you truly want. The work that you really feel called to be doing here in the world. The world needs that. The world needs you and your contribution. So this is a perfect cycle for you to let go of some of the fears. I think the proximity to Pluto can be helpful as well, and set some intentions, some very grounded intentions about the kind of work that you want to be doing, that you feel called, that's truly part of your vocation in the world. All right. Now, there's one more aspect here that this new moon is making, and it is a wider square to Chiron. It's not an applying aspect. The aspect to Pluto is an applying one, so I thought I definitely needed to mention that one. Chiron, the moon and the sun has a squared that Chiron already, because Chiron is at 15 Aries, so it has happened. But there is something to say about personal initiative and the wounds connected to personal initiative that we might be facing, we might be working on, that we might feel supported to be doing during this cycle as well, because Venus is forming an exact trine to that Chiron. So they're both at 15 degrees. So I feel that this trine is very supportive, and it's intuition as well, because we're talking about fire signs. Being able to see ahead, again, that sense of future-oriented energy. There are a couple of more aspects I really want to mention here for you. One that's highly, highly supportive as well of this Capricorn new moon, the Capricorn energy, and that's Mars in Capricorn. So at the moment of this new moon, Mars will be at 5 degrees Capricorn, and it will be an exact trine to Jupiter at 5 degrees Taurus. So taking action in connection to these ideas, goals, ambitions. So taking action, sustained action, generous action. Jupiter is about generosity. So anything that has to do with this generous action, taking grounded action, setting the tone for goals that will be profitable for us, that will be aligned with our core values as well. This is all supported by this aspect. So take a ride with this energy, because it's a very benevolent one. Mars and Jupiter are both in sextile to Saturn as well. Saturn at 4 degrees Pisces. And all of that to say that these actions can actually bring you fruits, can actually bring you something tangible in the future. With the sextile to Saturn, Saturn is saying yes to that we can definitely harvest something from it. That the structures that we create now can really bring us some beautiful results. So really take the reins and use this energy. I mean, most of January will have that sort of energy between dreaming with some squares to Neptune, a couple of planets will be making, and the Capricorn emphasis. All right. The last aspect I want to share with you will be Mercury square Neptune. So Mercury will form a square to Neptune during this new moon as well. Do not be far off. And this is about dreaming and bringing inspiration as well. So do not get caught up in confusion and trying to pin down anything, trying to give ultimatums or anything like that, but try to channel and focus on your third eye, because a lot of your ideas and a lot of the clarity in connection to the goals, to the work that you want to be doing in the world, will be coming through dreams, through gut feelings, through these other realms that Neptune represents. All right. So this is what I had to share with you. Is a beautiful new moon, especially for the people that feel that you're in a mission here, that you've got so much to do. This is going to be a supportive energy for you to achieve all of your goals and your dreams, as long as they're grounded enough. All right. Wishing you all a wonderful new moon, and I will be speaking to you soon. Bye bye now.